Hello. Good morning and evening and afternoon, wherever time zone you are. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I'm a little bit late to getting started, so I have to bear with me while I'm just finishing setting up a few odds and sods. But again, we're going to hit the ground running imminently. Just check this, check that. I don't really, to be honest, I largely don't actually know what I'm doing. Hello, Haran, AC, Julian. Glad you guys are here. Last stream before I'm off for a little bit, so I want to try and get something fun done, but I'm going to start off with the non-fun stuff, and that is the moving all the files into different folders, which maybe not what everyone signed up for, but it's certainly the mess that we've got to fix. After last stream, 2 people reached out to me, AC, and then someone who I terribly sorry. I forgot to make a note of your name, but maybe you didn't want that mentioned anyway, so let's go with that. 2 tips combined that will actually manage to let us do all the refactoring just in Vim. So I was a little bit, we don't have to resort to VS Code or random sed commands. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm all ready for Lanzarote. I've got the got my head all shorn down. Okay, so what we did last time was actually quite. Hang on. Was actually quite good. We got the kind of physics cylinder squared away with the graphics. We kind of unified the physics and the graphics system, so we could render what the physics system was doing with the graphics engine. We fixed some really gnarly bug in the TLV where we had we were mixing like the number of elements with the number of bytes, which was causing us to way overread a buffer and was therefore causing the code to get a bit grumpy. So we degrumped the code, which was exciting, and then we faffed around a bit, moving some files into folders. And I want to finish that off today because I think that'll leave us in a nice place. And then the plan is to add rotations into the rendering. So I'm going to try and on the fly remember how quaternions work, or at least enough to kind of make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, and then we'll smash that in there, and then we'll get some barrels rolling around, and I think that'd be a nice place to end before a couple of weeks. Enjoyed the latest video. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. So yes, new video. If you've not seen it, please do go watch it. Feed the algorithm all the good signals such that more people can find it and enjoy it, and maybe come along to some of these streams. Right, so where were we at? We kind of let's have a look. We kind of moved some stuff into graphics, and I think basically what's left is physics, is events, and then core, and I think TLV, and core will just be the dumping ground, I imagine, for everything else until we get a better naming system. Haran, thank you for coming over the channel. Much appreciated. Of course, if you'd done that 24 hours ago, you would have had early access to the next video, so you just missed out on what is arguably one of the main perks. But you're here, and you've got the little floppy disk icon now, so that's probably all that matters. Right, let's stop gassing and let's start writing some code. So we're going to have a physics directory, and I'm just going to smash all the physics stuff in there. I'm going to update the CMake file, and then we're going to do a mass find and replace for all the header files. Bish bash bosh, nice and easy. So let's have a look at what's in source. There's quite a lot of stuff. So move source. I think anything physicsy should probably go into oh, actually, because that's itself going to match the directory. Anything physics _e. That's not what I wanted. Should go to source physics. Move. What else we got? We got the rigid body stuff. That should go to source physics, and then we've got what else we got? We got various shapes. Can I do star shape? Source physics. No matches for wildcard. I thought we had a load of like box shape and capsule and cylinder shape. Don't Do I need another glob? Am I lacking in my globbing? Nailed it? Question mark? Nailed it. Quacko, nice to see you here. Oh, I didn't put a pinned comment. I was a bit rushed getting started. There's no pinned comment for the Twitch link. Let me just do that quick because that is for those who prefer Twitch. Copy link. Twitch arrow. There you go. Stick a big old pin in that. I feel like it's a bit dark. It's a bit dark. Spent all this money on a stream deck. I feel like I should use it to, like, you know, a little bit more. Well, that's offensive. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so what else is physicsy? There's all the jolt gubbins as well. Move, source, jolt into source physics, and then LL source. What else we've got? We've got, I'm going to say the debug renderer is probably part of physics. Oh, buffer, that needs to move to graphics, so we need to update some of this as well, and the buffer writer. I'm surprised we missed that. And the debug UI. Okay, fine, well, we all make mistakes. Debug renderer star to source physics. Matrix 4 and Vector 3 I'm going to stick in like core, I think, because they are kind of used across everything. Like, potentially have maths, and then put the quaternion in there. I'm open to maybe core, so core isn't quite such. Core can then be stuff like auto release and log and stuff like that. Scene, that's probably graphics. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time doing this, but I do think it's worth us spending a bit of time just getting this tidied up. For anyone new joining us, we do tend to do slightly more interesting things than this, just not right now. So source cmake, and then vs source, no, copy source graphics cmake to source physics. Okay, and then we can open that up. Nope. Hello, computer? What's going on? Got caps lock on. Okay. CMake. Where's the? There it is. All right, let's open that. So this just here basically, when you load the physics here, which is what we'll do. We're basically just saying add all these to the GameLib target. You could argue this may be slightly unnecessary, but it does mean that if we did have to have any physics specific configuration, we kind of just live in the physics CMake file and not have to worry too much about muddying this top level one with like arguably like implementation details about the specific subsystems. You could build all these as separate libraries. I'm not going to, but there's no reason you couldn't. So we want that, don't want that, want that, don't want that. Right, okay. And then we need to go through and remove those from here. So get rid of the cylinder shape, the debug renderer, the jolt utils, physics system, residual body, shape, sphere shape. Okay. So this should now not work, which would be nice. I mean, makes sense to me. Hello, sudo. My terrible build system strikes again. Okay, where were we? Okay, fine. So now I can't find Okay, so what we should be able to do is we can see here that it's missing like the box shape.h. So if we use the grep functionality in Telescope, which is the near Vim plugin, to be like, hey, tell me where I've done include box shape, right? So it's these three instances here. If you do Control Q, okay, bear with me, puts them into like a little quick fix list, and then you can do cdo, whatever you want to call it, and that will apply a command to each of those subselections. So then we can be like, oh, actually, box shape should be box shape should be something like physics box shape. But what someone else pointed out to me is that I always thought when you use this, whatever the syntax is here, the find and replace, the / was like an integral part of it. Turns out it can be anything, and this is why these sed commands that I tried to do last time didn't work, because we had paths. But you can just pick like any character as long as you're consistent. So it'd be like $ box shape $ physics, and now I can include the / because it's not part of the delimiter for the command box shape GC, and then if you use GC, then it'll ask you to confirm each one. So in theory, I should be able to go with that and be like, yes, I want that one. Is that right? Oh, hang on, I've missed the final $ off the end, haven't I? cdo s $ box shape $ physics box shape $GC. Right. And I'll be like, yes, yes, yes. Okay. And that should, in theory, set us straight. Yes, I know :Q gives you previous commands, because why did I had to look that up recently, because I used to use :W and then use the up and down keys to search through them, but since I switched to a 60% keyboard, I don't have the arrow keys, and it doesn't like doing that with J and K, so that's why I had to figure out that Q : gives you all the previous commands, and then you can search in here, which is actually more powerful anyway. Again, somewhat hoisted by my own petard for using a smaller, for 60% keyboard. Well, you see, the thing is, so here's the thing. I've been using Vim for about 10 years, and I will not consider myself like an expert at it. Like, there's definitely ways I can improve, and I was very heavily reliant on the arrow keys. In fact, pretty much out of all those 10 years, I've only really been using HJKL for like the last maybe like 3 months, and to force myself to use it, I just brought a smaller keyboard without the arrow keys. That's how I'm sort of training myself to be better at Vim, and now I'm kind of used to it. But I had to remove that. And I'm not saying you have to do that if you're interested. I'm just saying that I chose to. I've got a lot of these source rigid bodies, which is I can clean this up on the same time, right? Because that's where Clang D keeps putting this extra like annoyance in. So I presume it's something that's source. Was it just there? Okay, fine. Source rigid body. So then we'll go Control Q. CDO S $ rigid body $ physics rigid body $. I'm just gonna go $. I'm gonna fortune favors the brave. I'm not gonna confirm these. I'm just gonna run this on them. I think that's fine. So I think that's right. Replace. Nailed it. Okay. I'm basically just going to keep kind of going back and forth between the compiler to get the next one that I need to replace. So it's an interesting point. Like, there's a certain, I don't know. you should be free to reverse engineer software you own, right? And I definitely own a copy of Bugs Life, so I don't really feel like I did anything wrong, and I don't think anything I did would prevent. I only look at games you can't buy as a kind of general rule, so I'm not really denying sales from anyone. So that's how I kind of think this is. I know it's probably a glib, like, you know, you're being a little bit glib there, but it is an interesting conversation. Like, is hacking these games and putting videos on them like legal? I'm pretty sure it is. Otherwise, someone would have said something. Did I miss the source rigid body as well? Okay, fine. We'll go back and fix that as we go through. So the next one is box shape. So let's get rid of this. SG box shape. So Q CDO S dollar box shape dollar physics box shape dollar G. Also, I'm going to have to go through and tidy these up anyway because all my includes will be wrong. I might have to just run clang format over the whole system. Yeah, this is it. I'm not, like, again, I'm not... People should buy games, right? I don't agree. I fundamentally do not agree with piracy. Like, if a game's for sale, people who work hard to make these games should be compensated. You should pay for games, right? So I tend to look at abandonware stuff, like, and in my mind, it's more like preservation. Bugs Life, I mean, it probably would work anyway, but some of these games, you know, like the Jurassic Park game, you cannot, you know, you want to be able to preserve these games even when companies have gone out of business and they're no longer available, and that's kind of my view on it. Thanks, Harand. I will remember that for next time. Oh, I got to save all these as well. That's a pain. I thought it would just... I suppose that's actually okay, because then it will force me to run the formatter as well. It's a bit of a pain. SG cylinder shape. Oh, slightly lower viewers this evening. I wonder if they tuned in and realised I was just moving files around and thought, nope, that's not how I want to spend my Sunday, which is absolutely fair enough, by the way. But I think we're going to do some fun stuff at the end. What is this? Box shape. Box. Physics. Box shape. G. Oh, cylinder shape isn't. Oh, what a fool. CDO. S the cylinder shape dollar physics slash cylinder shape G. What do you mean you not found the pattern? Am I being stupid? Have I just run this accidentally several times now and okay, I think that's fine. I don't know what happened there. Just ignore that. I'll cut that bit out of the VOD. It's fine. We all make mistakes. There's the added bonus of actually trying to do this when I know that there's 100 people watching me as well, which is always fun. Physics system. It was so good I named it twice. Okay. I think I need to... Right, okay, so let's do... I think physics system is probably only used in main. I might just do the physics system because I'm aware that we're nearly half an hour in, and then we'll maybe finish off the rest next time. But I just wanted to kind of go through this, go through the Vim stuff, I wanted to give it a try, and then we're going to be working only in the physics system anyway, so maybe we'll just kind of progressively make that better as we go along. So to answer you, Bob Bobson, I am neither making my own physics system nor am I using PhysX. I'm using Jolt. Watching and judging, thanks. Rigid body. Have I not done this one? Is this the source? Is this now the... It's probably only one of these, right? Physics system. That should be gone, and then that should be physics. Job's been not too bad so far, I must admit. It's not maybe how I would design the API, but like I would say it's, in terms of the limited subset of features I've looked at, it's very comparable in terms of interface, I'd say, to Bullet. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. Physics. I really went to town on that one, didn't I? Ah, yes. The old physics, and then gc.h just for good measure. That's going to want to be, take that for free. Fix that one here. Yeah, curious to know like what irks you about it. What is annoying? What's your pain point? All right, there's loads of these, so we should be able to do Control Q, CDO, S $, shape $, physics shape $G. Okay. Save all. Did I make that worse? Someone said I got that wrong. Yeah, that's right. sudo, I think it means command do. It applies a command to every single line or every single selection in the quick selection. So cdo followed by some vimism. Where are we at? Cannot find sphere shape, which is sort of another physics there. So let's just close this. Let's go to physics system. Have I already opened that yet? I don't think I have. Physics system. Nope, that is absolutely not what I wanted to do. Physics system. So that would be physics, and then somewhere down here I've got that, and then let's go to there, go there, go that, go that. .h. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll do some coding soon. I promise. I promise. A few more people have tuned in now. It's fine. I suspect so. Limited high level abstractions. I've not delved into it deep enough. I suspect Jolt might be a reasonably advanced API in that it kind of, a bit like C++, right, kind of gives you all the primitives and you're kind of expected to put them together yourself. I could be wrong. That's kind of the impression I got from it. So maybe that was kind of my expectation going in. So that's why I've not found it too egregious so far. But we've literally only scratched the surface of it. We've not tried doing. I think for me, character controller is always the telling one. Like how easy is it to actually get something moving semi-realistically. Sphere shape, so SG, sphere shape, Q, cdo, and then we're going to do $, sphere shape, physics. Doing that dollar instead of that forward slash, really breaks my muscle memory. I want to type it every single time. I find that really, like, uncomfortable. And I did it again there. Oh, I think we're getting there. We're getting there. Ah, I do have a leading. Someone did say I had a leading forward slash. Interesting. Well, no time like the present to fix it. Is it just there? Or is it just where I manually fix that one up? You can escape it, but again, like I'm a massive proponent of like knowing your tools, and the better you know your tools, like the easier your life will be. And the fact that I can do it without escaping it, and there is an alternative way of using the tool. This stream is also an excuse for me to try out new things and try and get better at what I'm doing. So I'm trying to force myself to. Blimey, I was not expecting that just to work. Watch for the barrel. There we go. Love him. He not fit that well, but it's fine. So yeah. So let's just run the comp tool, update all that. Okay. So now I think we can basically just probably do all this in one big commit. So commit move physics to separate dir. Churn through that. Okay. Okay, we spent half an hour, so that is, you know, for a 2-hour stream, that's 25% of it moving, like shuffling files around on the file system. I think we'll put a pin in that and we'll do the rest later. I've got the 2 big ones done, so that's fine. So now, what I actually want to do is try and get some more interesting physics. So what I think we should do is spawn several barrels above each other, slightly offset, so when they land, hopefully they land and, like, you know, fall over each other, if that makes sense. So let's do 5 of those, and then Z, X, Y. So let's bring those down a bit. Do 20.0 F times, plus, I don't know, how high is 1? I think it's like 2, isn't it? So let's do J times 3.0 F. So they should all get stacked higher and higher, and then let's just offset them all just a little bit from each other on one of the axes. So hopefully they'll like fall over, and we'll see that the physics debug render will change its orientation, but the graphics won't, and then we'll go and fix that, and that'll be our job for today. And if we've got time left at the end, we can move some more files around, like, you know. Oh, they're a little bit. Does anyone else? Anyone else confused by that? Like, it's not just me, right? Maybe we need to. I just thought they were. Ship it. We're done, guys. We're done. Game complete. They're not solid, but they interact with the ground, the rigid body at the bottom, right? Like but hang on, I'm stuck. I've got myself stuck in an infinite loop. Hang on, let me. But there's a rigid body at the bottom. I know it's different, as in it's static, but right, okay. Let's have a look at this. What are we doing wrong? So I might need. Well, I thought I had collision layers set up, right? To be fair, we could probably refactor some of this because this is a bit grim. I've just got these hard-coded values everywhere. They're not concave, as far as I'm aware. They're just the built-in type. Lots to figure out. I'm not doing, so let me just, I think, to say, I'm not doing any collisions. I've handed that over to Jolt. I know you can do collision callbacks to handle things, and we'll probably have to do that for a kinematic character controller, but for now, for just like throwing rigid bodies around, I'm just like, just do it, please. So I think there's some stuff to unpack here. So one, we've got these like hard-coded numbers, which I think it might be time that we replace those. At least with like named constants. So let's get up the physics system. Let's do static stood uint 32t. What have we got? We've got non-moving layer equals 0. Const, and then const static stood uint 32t moving layer. Part of me thinks this should be an enum, but should this be an enum? It probably should. Let's do this properly. So let's do up here. Enum class, what are they called? Broad phase layer? I don't really, that's a mouthful. Let's just, would anyone object to physics layer? Like broad phase or not? Yeah, so this is filtering which should collide, and we might have a mistake here because I just like again fudged a lot of the numbers. So layer get value. So what we need to do here is do am I an anonymous namespace? I am. So let's do not here. I don't know what's going on. So I really wish we had reflection so I could like. I really hate doing stuff like this. Because that would be 2, 0, 1, and 2, right? So then we can do return stood to underlying game physics layer max layer, okay? And then, hello, people coming in, hello. You caught us at just an interesting juncture where I questioned my sanity and what the numbers really, what the numbers really mean. Like what is 0? So then here we can do auto, okay, so we can do like native layer equals game physics layer, because I think from our, oh interesting, I thought this under the hood was an integer. Oh no, it's a class. Oh, it's get value, and then we can switch on native layer. All right, here we go. This is now much more intuitive. In fact, actually, I think we should probably do this ourselves with a formatter and then just return that. No, char star. That's annoying. Whatever. Using enum no, sorry, using enum game physics layer, and then we can do case. What we got? Non moving, right? And then case moving. That's nice. That works quite nicely. Broad phase one word or two? It's capitalized separately. Anyway, irrelevant. But what do the numbers mean? They are. So as far as I can tell in Jolt, you can basically provide different layers that the broad phase works on, and everything in a layer, the broad phase will check for collisions with. So you basically like it's kind of like a grouping. So everything in grouping like layer 0, the broad phase will check for collisions within itself. And then you can basically, it will check if things between certain different layers should collide. So we basically put all the static stuff, which we know will never collide because it's static in one layer, and all the moving stuff in the other. And then here we basically define what should collide with what. Okay, so now should collide. I think we were basically saying if either of them are moving, because this is saying should. Let's just close this down. Right, should. Should we check the collision for something in this layer and this layer, right? I think that's what that's saying, right? We've got object. There's a slight difference between object layer and a broad phase layer. I think object layer is just the number. So, and then this gives you more information. I guess you might need this for some reason, but basically, merely the simple object versus broad phase layer filter is basically asking us to define what should do collisions. So I think we basically say. We want to do I feel like what am I trying to say? I feel like I want to do almost like return stood any game physics layer 1 game physics layer layer 2 dot get value const auto e return e equals game physics layer moving. I don't know if I've made it worse by using a range, but I feel like I should. What am I missing? Probably algorithm. Probably algorithm. Definitely ranges. Where's stood any? Is that not an algorithm? Oh, it's any of, isn't it? Is it any of? Is it ranges any of? Is there a ranges version? There is. Right, okay, sorry. Ranges any of. There we go. Right. And that is in algorithm. So if any of these are moving, return true. I feel like the compiler's not happy with that. Or at least Kindly's not happy with that. I didn't mean any as in the type erased container. I meant any of as in the are any of these true? If I got the right. It's the range and then the predicate and then an optional projection, right? Is that? 1 second. Right. Range predicate. My wife has just messaged me saying the lights are flickering upstairs, so if we're getting a rolling brownout, I do apologise. If I suddenly disappear, it's because our country has terrible infrastructure, and I will be back shortly. So there's a certain jeopardy to this, which is exciting. I mean, I don't want to spend too long on this. I just feel like this should work. The other thing is, like, does this just need to be like a stud set? Is it because it can't infer the right type? There we go. Although it should work with an initializer list. I'd be very surprised. I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't work with an initializer list. I do have a UPS, but only connected to my NAS, not to my main machine, because the NAS server's in a different room. So I should get a UPS for my PC as well. Yeah, my home automation did not. I did an update of my NAS and server this morning, and it just proved how much for House of Cards now my entire house lighting system is built on. So that was fun. I'd say the standard library is pretty fast. Like, I think we have this discussion a lot. I would say as a good first pass, reach for the standard library. It's battle tested, it's pretty well documented and understood, it's going to be pretty efficient, and then profile and then reach for something more specialized as and when you need it. Interesting. So interesting point from Twitch there is that do they just need to be separated more vertically, as in are they already clipping so the engine's like, maybe that's fine, let's shove that up a bit. Good question. I don't know what Jolt's I don't know what stance Jolt takes on rigid bodies that are already intersecting at the start of the simulation. Let's just go absolutely mad. Let's do 10. Depends on the platform. Profiling, I tend to use on Linux. I tend to use gprof, but there's the Intel ones. VTune is pretty good. No, it's definitely 100% not happy about this. Ogre. Now there's some software. I used Ogre at university. It was great. I had a great time. Ogre is an incredible piece of software. Okay, so now we've got Stud Exchange is like, I would say, probably one of the best bits of C++14. I'd hope it's not going to be deprecated. I think Stud Exchange is absolutely brilliant. Like, top C++14 feature for me. Okay, right. So now let's do this. So again, simple object layer pair filter. So I think this is object layer pair filter. Again, I think it's the same thing. Except for this, we just want... We'll check their docs in a minute, like their example, but I think we basically say if either of them are moving, then collide. So the other thing to check is somewhere, I think in a rigid body itself. That's a fun bug to find, isn't it? What is going on here? Missed one of those. That's exciting. I'm aware. That's why I'm using it. There's a magic number in here somewhere. Where's to layer type? That's wrong, isn't it? That didn't we say non-moving was? I think we might have found the bug. Sorry, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've played this game before. I think I might have found a bug, and this is why we should have. I should have forced myself to use the enums from the start rather than using the numbers. So this is entirely my fault. This is poor engineering, and I can only apologise. So where does? So it figures it out based on the type. I think here we want to return a game physics layer, right? And then case, if we have static, then we return oh, you know what, let's treat ourselves. Let's use all the enums. I think I can use 2, right? And then return static will be, see, these names are much more intuitive. And then that would be moving, right? And then here we can then do stood to underlying. Great questions coming on YouTube. I'm going to see if this works because this is a question that I get asked quite a lot and is actually quite part of my role. But let's just see if. Okay, fine. So, have I ever had to hire interns? And what things were you looking for during technical interviews? So, a large part of the role I do for my company is I help manage and mentor and have general pastoral care over our graduates and interns. I always say what I'm looking for is kind of aptitude rather than raw knowledge. If you can come in and you know everything, you can boss it out, great, we'll probably hire you. But if you can come in so I can interview and show that you're open to learning new things and have the ability to learn, that's what I tend to be looking for. So really the best way to kind of display that for me in the interviews I do is curiosity, that wanting to go deeper, kind of wanting to know how things work, not being satisfied with just a surface level answer. That kind of curiosity, I think, will take you far in any role. So yeah, good question. Okay, right, so what's going on here? Other than the fact that it doesn't like this file. All right, thank you. Why is... It's annoying because I thought this was a solved problem, this not understanding what version of CPP it was using. Oh, hang on, why is this not in? Then I'll see that. What? Now I am confused. What file am I in? Hey? Where did it pull that file from? I bet that's a neovim buffer. I bet that file doesn't exist anymore and it's just in the buffer. So I bet now that I've saved it, it's come back. That's exciting. Yeah, I think I have 2 of them. I'm going to say it's Vim's mistake, not mine, but I guess ultimately the computer only does what I tell it to, and I probably did tell it to do that, but I feel miffed regardless. What I can do though is yoink that code. Okay. Hash include. We might. Are we going to end up with a circular dependency here? No, because it's the CPU file. No, ignore me. Fine. We can always bring that enum out into a separate file if needed. Finally, we can do stud2 underlying. Right. Got a good feeling about this one. If it compiles. Which it does not. What? Non-constant expression cannot be narrowed to object layer. Okay. Oh, interesting. Ah, that's because I'm using. Okay, right. So, yeah. So, lots to talk about now. Enum class. One of the things that, rather than, as well as it being a much more tightly scoped construction, it also allows you, if you want, to specify the underlying type, so that the enum is backed by, because all an enum is an integer where you've given a name to some but probably not all of the values. By default, it is an integer. Now, object layer, right, whoever that is a fine. We saw earlier is a short or uint16t, and what std underlying does is it casts the enum to the integer of the underlying type. So this will produce here an int. Now, what I'm effectively doing is downcasting an int to a short, which will potentially lose precision. And when you do the curly brace in the initialization, whatever it's called, aggregate initialization, whatever it's called, the curly brace initializer, that prevents you from doing implicit downcasts. So there's basically two solutions to this. One, we cast this to the right type. Two, we use the round brackets here. I would actually prefer to cast it myself because I'd rather be explicit than implicit. And one of the advantages of using the curly braces is it prevents you doing stuff like this. So I think what we can do is something we can basically. I think what we can do is we can solve this with more C++ like token soup. Static cast to the decal type of JPH object. What is it? What's the type? Physics system, and then where we had somewhere like object, JPH object layer. All right. Beta. Why would I not make the enum a std uint16t? Because I don't want it to be. I don't want Jolt's like opinion on the size of its object layer to interface my code. Decal type's interesting because it does weird stuff when you pass it a pure expression. This is fundamentally different to without it. With the inner brackets, you can use it to determine the value category of the expression it's evaluated. So it'll tell you whether it's an L value, a PR value, or an X value. But that's kind of magic. That. What I'm more interested in is why is it complaining about this? Missing one of if I just is my token soup. Oh, what? Unexpected. The only thing I can think of is it doesn't like this. But if I'm in, even if it's a transitive include, which I'm not a massive fan of, I should be getting it from this, right? Has this got object layer? All right. I'll have one of those anyway, just to be on the safe side. So now it should... It looks just like perfectly cromulent C++ to me. What do you mean I'm missing a... Why is the stood colon before integer type? Where have I... Where are you seeing that? Yeah, I don't think that's the decal type bit for the enum. Oh, why do I namespace it? Because you are correct, but doesn't it come from the C headers rather than the C++ headers? And whilst I imagine it probably doesn't make any difference, partly I've just always done it as stood colon because it comes from the standard, and that's just how I've literally always done it. It's very much muscle memory. You can drop stood colon, but then don't you technically have to include studint.h rather than c studint, or is something it all kind of just works magically for you? All compilers compose it as an extension. Fine, it's up to you. Like, I guess you could argue I'm then not relying on an extension. It's just what I've always done. This is annoying me now. So I'm kind of curious why I didn't like that. Maybe I need to go and look at what the type is. See, I would agree. I didn't think it was standard compliant to rely on that as well. I think I agree with Harand. Ah! So these all are they on the ground? It's really hard to tell. I think... Is there friction yet? There is whatever I get by default. So I'm going to assume no, because these things seem to be rolling indefinitely with whatever momentum they had when they fell off. I think arguably, like, at the end of the day, consistency is... There's kind of two things to me. Consistency is important, right? Whatever one you decide to do in your program, you should just stick with it. For me, I have... It's not code I wrote. They are not the default integral types, right? So they've come from somewhere else, C student or student.h, and I've just habitually always namespaced them. I cannot offer you any better justification other than just that's kind of the way I've always done it. And again, at a glance, I can see it's not code I've written. It comes from somewhere else. I think it's clearer, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if it doesn't like it, the code won't compile. And I think that, again, consistency is key. So whatever your existing code does, you should stick with. Okay, let's see if we can... Let's run that again. That's quite satisfying. Okay, so now let's have a look. Where are we at? So we've got Let's do. Oh, there's me new one. Let's discard that. So let's do fix rigid body collisions, and then commit stack 1R in barrels, 2Rs, help. Burrell. Thank you. Why am I lost? There's just some logs stuffed around. We'll clean them up as we go along. Just in Mrs. Bags is in the chat, despairing at my my spelling. I do apologise. Okay, what am I doing? We need to do quaternions. We need to get some of those in there, so we can get the orientation out of. Well, let's just check what we actually get out of Jolt first, because I assume it's going to be a quaternion. But let's go to, what's that, rigid body? That one doesn't exist anymore. Before I try and resurrect that one. Somewhere don't we have a position? So this is get position. So what else do we have? Get rotation, which does indeed return us a quat, which won't let me see. So we're going to need to write our own wrapper, well, our own version of that, and then we're going to have to ham that into the matrix code, and then we're going to have to ham that in, like, smash that into, where do we do our syncing? Here. So render set rotation? Orientation? What are we thinking? Probably rotation. Feels like less typing. E source. Let me have a look. Where's my... I got some notes on this. Quaternion. I did orientation in an engine I wrote once, and then I immediately regretted it. So for anyone unaware, a quaternion is a way of representing rotation in 3D space, and it's basically 4 components, X, Y, Z, and W, and the X, Y, Z represents a normalized vector, right? So it's just a direction. So you can imagine, like, you get a pencil, and that is the angle of rotation, and then the W is just the number of radians anti-clockwise around that. So you can represent any orientation in 3D space with a line, and then you just rotate around that. That's effectively what they do. Or at least is my understanding. I think it has some nice properties as well around, like, commutative multiplication question mark and other maths words, and I think it works reasonably nicely with matrices as well. So what we got? Namespace game, probably. Class quaternion. Public, and then we're gonna have float X, float Y, float Z, float W, and then we will have a const expra quaternion default constructor, which will give us a X, Y, Z, and W of, I think the default you want is 1, right? Something maths? yes, it does avoid gimbal lock as well. The maths for that's quite interesting actually, if you kind of work your way through it, because I never really quite got it until I went through the maths and realised that actually, when you get gimbal lock, you can actually see that the variables in the matrix multiplication like cancel each other out, and you literally lose a degree of orientation or rotation. I feel like I've started off something in this chat now that I maybe regret. Let's explore quaternion float x, float y, float z, float w, xx, yy, zz, ww. In fact, actually now this becomes, I prefer to reuse code where possible, so quaternion, and then we can do 0.0f, 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 1.0f. Okay, done, right? I mean, what more maths could you want? No, I refuse to acknowledge that pun. Great question, right? So making everything public, isn't struct better to go than a class? This is my personal philosophy on this, and it kind of up to you what you want to do. So kind of this is my view on it. I wouldn't say there's any right or wrong way of doing it. Members that have both getters and setters should just be public. There's no point going through all the pain of writing a getter and a setter. I use structs only for bundles of data. I want to read that. I want them all to be mutable, and there are no methods that act on it. Maybe a constructor. Anything which has methods on it is a class in my mind, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just how I view it. Structs are bundles of mutable data. Classes are bundles of data with methods that operate on them. You're kind of free to pick your own interpretation. Yeah, exactly. It's purely code style, and I agree. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Thank you very much. Yeah, as soon as there's a method to be added to it, I make it a class. And then at least there's some consistency there. So if I see a struct, I know, oh, that's just like a bundle of mutable data. Whereas a class, like, oh, there's things I might want to call on that. But the only difference is the default access modifier and the default inheritance as well. Classes are private by default, structs are public. Okay, so what do I want to do? I want to shove their quaternion to mine. I guess we could probably do that first. Oh, actually, hang on. No. I'm going to do something now before I regret it, before I forget and regret it later. Vector quaternion, and then w equals that, and then obj.w. Why is it? Pretty sure that's right. Oh, it's because it probably doesn't know how to pass this header file yet. That's fine. Okay, so we kind of got our like loose representation of the data. So yeah, C++26, I believe we are getting const expr exceptions, which is interesting. So you'll be able to compile time throw an exception in the same way that you can kind of compile time allocate memory, which is I find really fascinating. Of course, I think the big next question is: are you ever going to get const expr thread? What does a compile time thread look like? Now that's the real question. I use Copilot a lot. I use it all the time. I don't use it in the streams because I'd rather talk through the code and kind of take a bit more time over it. But I use Copilot all the time. I think it's okay. Like, it's okay enough that I pay for it to use on personal projects. So, yeah. So, are C++ modules viable yet? Great question. They are fully supported in Microsoft. I think they are mostly supported in Clang and GCC. I'll have to forget which way around it is, but I think the compiler support is now pretty good. CMake, as of CMake 3.30 or 32, has full CMake support, including import stud. I might indulge myself and spend a stream and convert some of our code to modules just as an chance to try out. I've not used modules yet. I don't really have any experience with it. I don't know what the best practices are, and I really want an opportunity to kind of play around with the code. So I think that I might indulge myself on a future stream and convert all of this to modules. It might be kind of fun to do. You can watch me figure out a new feature live. Okay, right, so let's go back to rigid body. Some good... Oh my goodness, please I stop it with this phantom rigid body. Okay, so we have... So I should be able to do hash include Waltonian, and then we should be able to do auto rotation const. Oh, I cannot type today. Which, for anyone who tunes regularly, you could say that about most streams, but I think today is exceptionally bad. Okay, so I'm hoping I can just copy this and then do fp rotation. Get position will be get rotation, and then b rotation, and then we should just have to update our two native overloads to take a what is this? Please don't do this to me. There's going to be a header file somewhere, isn't there? Jolt utils. Right, have they got one of these R quartz things? No. Oh, quart arg? Ignore that. Cut that bit out. Which is a... not a ref. Which I was expecting. Does that mean this isn't a ref? This is a ref. Why is Vex... Again, an interesting design choice here, and I don't really... To a certain extent, I don't care what you do, I just want it to be consistent. I would expect something called a vec3 arg, which is a const ref to a vec3, to translate to quat arg, because it does for the matrices as well. Like, am I going mad? Is that strange? Am I missing something there, or is that strange? You can look at the ref, but where is the ref, right? Oh, because they've got here. I'm very confused. I don't understand what the logic is when you pick one over the other. I'm going to do that because I think that is technically right. And when the whole thing explodes in my face, we'll find out that I was wrong. So we'll get our quaternion out, and then we should be able to do... Oh, is it going to be getters or is it going to be public members? Let's find out. Also, I don't want V. Come on. All right, Q dot get X. Nice. Q dot get Y. I'm not seeing a Q dot get W. Oh no, I am. Fine. Q dot W get twist. Exciting, right. Those are of course all methods, which I missed off. Right, okay. So go back. So this should now work. Let's just check this blends. Can I build it without? Yeah, I don't know what get export zy returns you. Maybe a tuple? I don't know. I'm happy just to pull them out individually though, because you're gonna have to do that eventually anyway. Hey, well, glad you can make it. Actually, good numbers on the stream tonight. Maybe some new people have rolled in for the new video. Just means I get to share the misery amongst more people. Okay, right, so we've got the rotation, but we can't do anything with it. For that, we'll need into our entity class, we will need a set rotation, and then we'll need to fudge that into the model matrix. And I'm gonna have to look up how to do that because I can't remember. XYZW returns it as a jolt vector. Interesting. Okay, I don't think I need that because I'd have to unpack it, destructure it, whatever you want to call it, anyway. So let's do auto set rotation const quaternion rotation void entity set pos, and then we'll do I've kind of done all the easy bits so far, but now we're going to actually have to do the maths. But we should be able to do render dot set rotation physics dot rotation. Might not make any difference, but I might just inline that. Physics dot position. Okay. Okay, so let's see if I can. I'm just going to check my notes for what we need to do here. There's definitely like a here we go, what's this? I think I might have to Oh yeah, new video. Do watch it afterwards. I'll be reminding people insistently. I think the obvious solution to that then is don't allow negative floats. Have just unsigned floats. I think, unless there's probably some trick here, but I suspect I might need to build the full matrix. Game's looking pretty. It's looking pretty good. It's got some barrels. It's got a skybox. We might even get to show it again. I'm just trying to think. Do I need to just keep adding keywords? You could have unsigned, long, double. It's your language. What do I? Where's right? Just trying to figure out the maths in my head and what I want to do. I don't think it's as simple as putting the numbers in the matrix column. I don't. It might be actually, because if I can convert it to the if I can convert it to the 3x3 rotational segment of the 4x4 matrix. Let me see if I can get a diagram up. What am I looking for? This, right? This does the rotation. This does the displacement. Oh, displacement. We could have had that instead of set position. We could have had set displacement. No, so I think all we need to be able to do is, so the game is we need to convert a quaternion to a 3x3 matrix and then just slap those in there, right? So I guess you could either decompose it to the your pitch roll and do it that way, but I'm gonna see. So I want like quaternion to 3x3 rotation matrix. I just want the code. I don't. So this guy looks pretty happy. He must have been doing some quaternions. First row of the rotation matrix. So this here returns it as a 3x3 matrix. I think that'll work, right? Again, rows and columns. I gotta make sure we get the, because we're column major. So when they say row, I suppose you can actually look at the array here. That is, that's fine. We just got to make sure we put them in the right order. So in fact, these will be 0, 1, 0, and 2, 0 will be the first three elements. It is a 4x4 matrix, right? But the actual rotation matrix within a 4x4 is just these 3x3 components. And then the translation is separate. I think it gets a bit more, and then aren't these the scale ones? Or is the scale diagonally, the scale gets a little bit weird, right? But we're not worried about scaling at the moment. Scale is diagonal, right? But we don't. Yeah, so the scale would mix with rotation, but as we don't support that, I think we can cheat, right? And just, as in, I don't think we care about scale. No, hang on. We do care about scale, don't we? Because we have a translation and a scale. So it's not going to be as easy as that because we'll lose the scale information. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, so so currently we are only using uniform scale, but that doesn't mean we will always be using uniform scale. Oh, in fact, I could have worked out it was the diagonals because I can see it there. I'm wondering if we just. Yeah, but I don't think you can save the scale off. Hey Alex, glad you're here. My hairline regression is started about the time I started C++, and it's impossible to say whether those are correlated or not. Thanks for the bit, Slappy, much appreciated. Okay. So what I've done before is I've created a transform class which holds as separate member variables the translation, the rotation, and the scale. And then you just update those scalar values, and then at the point where you need something, it just basically recomputes the matrix every time. I wonder if that's easier. It's a little bit more work, but at least that way we can be like, oh, what is the scale? And it's easy to query what those particular values are, and we can print them out, and then we just basically have like a 2-matrix method, and then that will just construct. We'll do the maths to construct a matrix from a rotation, and then we'll just multiply them together. Yeah, I think there is no universal way of doing it. I think we just have to pick a way and go forward. Let's right. Let's have a play around with this. So let's do class transform. Right. Public. So vector 3 and take we'll take a quaternion, and then we'll have const. So we'll have vector 3 position, vector 3 scale, and quaternion rotation. Okay. And then we'll have a. I'm just trying to break it down in my head, like the kind of smaller steps to get to the end goal of what I want to do. So then we'll have a transform which will take a const vector 3 position, const vector 3 scale. We could default these as well, so but let's just get going, right? Const quaternion rotation, right? And then that would be position scale. This may not be the most performant way of doing it. I don't actually know, but I think for now I don't actually care. We'll just profile it and fix it later if we need to. Okay, and I think that could be const expr, right? So I'm planning on doing potentially like a scene graph at some point where you can have parented things where the transforms go through the hierarchy. So I think which then I guess this wouldn't work because we need to accumulate the matrix as we go along rather than this three distinct things, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. But it's a great point. I'm solving the problem I've got now, and then I'll solve tomorrow's problems tomorrow. So then I think we're going to want something like this, right? Matrix for no, hang on, wait a minute. Const expra operator matrix 4 const, right? What's the I can never remember what it is. What's the cast operator? It is oh, I'm missing some of my arrow. Missing a. Is that, oh no, wait a minute. No, that's just the explicit bool operator. Never mind. Ignore me. Don't know what I'm talking about. Operator matrix 4. There you go. Yeah, got there in the end. Thanks, guys. So now I can cast the transform to a matrix 4. So we can basically store these things as read-write, as mutable data. So anyone can come along and say, here's now your position, here's now your scale, add to them, multiply them, whatever operations these support, setting them, and then we can just pull a matrix out at the end. So at the moment, this is easy because we can just do matrix for, in fact, actually I don't even need that. I can just do position and scale, right? What we can't do is support the quaternions. So now if I can just extend the matrix class to construct one from a quaternion, I can then multiply them. I might need to produce these separately anyway, right? Because what's the matrix transform multiplication order? I always forget what it is. Scaling, rotation, and then translation. Oh, I'm really like some nice words in the chat, but I'm really not that great. I'm just figuring out. I'm figuring out a lot of this as I go along. But thank you for the kind words. I think that's what I want. And then we'll just have we'll bust this out into two separate constructors. So I'll have one for the translation, one for the scale, which is always fun because then I have to figure out how to disambiguate between two vectors, but that's fine. Static member or tag dispatch? The choice is ours. Anyway, we'll disambiguate those, and then what I'm really trying to put off is writing the rotation one. That's what I'm really putting off because it's a massive pain. I do have some code which I will crib from, so please don't think I'm just pulling this straight out of my arse, where all my matrix knowledge normally lives. All right, const expra matrix 4 const quaternion. Right, it's time. No, absolutely not. Do I want a JPH one? Can you imagine? Why has all my code exploded? All right, let's try it again. Time for the big one. Okay, right. Const expra matrix 4 const quaternion rotation okay, so I have some code. Here's one I prepared earlier. But I think it's for row major. So I'm going to have to make sure I adjust these as I go along. Do I have a default constructor? Yeah, okay, fine. So we'll just stick in the yeah, it's fine. We'll debug it if we have to. Interesting. What an interesting question. What do I prefer? Programmer, coder, hacker, developer, or dev? I guess they all have different meanings, so my preference would be like whichever one conveys the right semantics at the time. I guess you probably want some more clarification on that, other than just a vague use the right one at the right time. Like, they're just words, right? For me, like, I would consider myself a software engineer, at least by trade, and that is programming is the typey bit on the keyboard, right? That's the fun bit where you type on the keyboard and code works, right? Software engineering is all the stuff that kind of goes around that. It's the requirements capture, it's the testing, it's the documentation, it's the the delivery and the support. That's the job. It compromises one subset of software engineering is programming. That's kind of my view of it. So programmer, coder, they're all kind of the same. I guess you could shorten software developer or software engineer to either developer or dev, but that's kind of the distinction in my mind. Hacker, I'm not a big fan of the term. I feel that's something people tend to call you rather than you call yourself, but that's kind of my view on it. Okay, right. Let's start writing some code. I've got elements 0. Start with 1.0f. Gonna take off 2.0f times. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. So this is what I've used before in an engine I wrote previously. I'm pretty sure the math is correct, in that stuff does correctly rotate or orientate itself. But I believe, I'm not a big fan of copy and pasting code because I feel like I should be typing a lot of this out from scratch, but I'm just going to make an error if I do this. But I believe this is row major, so I now need to transpose this. Thanks. Right, it is row major. Right, so what are the ones that have to swap? It's got to be. I'm glad you enjoyed the Bugs Life video. I very much enjoyed making it. It was good fun, that one. It wasn't too stressful. It was a nice challenge, but not as difficult as, say, the Jurassic Park one, which was a massive pain. Like, that was a lot of late nights, blood, sweat, and tears. Bugs Life was an enjoyable experience. Which cells do I want to transpose? I suppose I could just do it. So if I've got, what we got, 0, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back to I type out array indices. We've not done this in a while, so that's fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Dot and dot. Right. So 1 and 4 need to swap. Uh, 2 and 8 need to swap. This feels like a absolute recipe for disaster. This. I hope someone out there is paying attention to what I'm doing. 3 and 12. Never had a 3 and 12 to start with. Probably okay. I guess those don't part. Oh, because it's only these are part of the rotation matrix, isn't it? So it's actually then just, is it then just 9 and 6 need to swap? It's like I don't have a 3. Existential crisis. We trust you on this. I'm glad someone has faith in me. Yeah, I feel like, Haran, you just turned into like an old school number station there, where you were just like, it's just random numbers and they might mean something if we have the right key. Okay. I feel like, what could possibly go wrong? I don't need this either. We trust the process because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We default initialize to the identity matrix, so keep things simpler. I mean, that is maths. Can't argue with that. Straight up maths. I've totally lost the plot now. So rigid body, entity, no, transform. So now we should be able to do, nope, because I've got to be able to disambiguate between these two. So the issue now, right? Here's the thing. I can have a constructor of matrix 4 that takes a vector 3 as a translation and produces a translation matrix. That is fine. I can have a matrix that takes 2 vector 3s, a translation and a scale, and correctly combines those. If I want another constructor which takes just a scale, because it is the same type as this, I cannot disambiguate between the two. So we have two choices. You either do it through static members, so I have like a make translate and a make rotation, or we use something called tag dispatch, which basically adds like a special extra member on the end to disambiguate them. I don't want to go to the static method because I feel that's adding an additional API and we've not used it anywhere else. So I feel like it's kind of patching around the problem. So what I will probably do is have a struct, let's have it in here. Matrix 4 scale. So now what we can do here is we can take this, right? And then, so again, now it's like I can't redeclare this, but what I can do is I can have a scale equals, no, it can't be defaulted. Scale on the end, and then we'll just so now if we want to, it's almost like the parse key idiom that we did the other day, but anyone can construct it. We just create one of these. In fact, I think if you just put in open brace, curly brace, it will pick this one. I think you'll be creating scale matrices less often than translation ones, so I'm kind of happy for this to have the slightly uglier API. Right, transform. So now I'll show you what we mean by that. So we've got to do the scaling operation first. So we should be able to do matrix for scale, right? Create the extra one times matrix for rotation times matrix for position. I think that's right. It's scale times rotation times position, right? In that order for column major, right? Question? You could have used enum as well. I just used what's called tag dispatch, which is basically a zero. Well, sorry, it's not zero size because the smallest size that anything can have in C++ is 1 byte. So it'd be a 1 byte class. What type of game is made? We're nowhere near working out what kind of game was made. We're still faffing around writing Quaternion classes. we did use tag dispatch. We originally had this problem, and I did tag dispatch, and then I combined the two constructors. We actually used this before to solve this problem, but then I realized I had no reason to create a scale without a translation, so I just smashed them together. Let's just see if it builds. I think I did update matrix 4 with the new constructors, yeah. We'll do it. Oh, when this builds, we'll do a poll if we think it's going to work. Hey, what are you? Unreferenced. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, so now I've got to... We're not quite there yet, because now... Sorry, now entity needs to store a transform. Right. Set position, set rotation, and then have an auto transform const transform ref, right? And then we'll get rid of model and replace that with a transform model. Or I suppose just call that transform, right? Because model is like it's almost like an OpenGL term. It's sort of actually kind of irrelevant to this class. All my code just disappeared. Okay, so now this is going to be very unhappy code. So transform starts off again with, it will do when I add it. So, and then, so default orientation, position, a scale, and a default orientation. And then model ceases to be. I think, nope, model will cease to be. And then we get down here, set position will now become transform dot position equals position. And this will be transform dot rotation equals rotation. And then mesh material. Let's stick this here. It's kind of personal preference. I try and keep the getters in the order that their prime members are. That's entirely that you have no need to do that. So this will then become entity, and then we will do this, do that, and the other. Do this, do that, and the other. Right. Okay, so I think that is now happy-ish. And then the renderer is going to be unhappy now because it's not going to understand the model, right? So now we go to the renderer. And somewhere in here it's going to be like, it's going to try and bind the model to the uniform. And it's going to be like, this doesn't exist. Here you go, entity model doesn't uniform. So what we should be able to do, const auto model equals matrix 4 of entity transform, right? Because we have the cast operator. And then we can just do, I think I like that as a design more because a matrix is quite maths heavy. You kind of have to know how to use it. It's almost an implementation detail. Like you could argue the entity is just cares about the higher level concepts of rotation and position and scale. The fact that you represent those with a matrix is very much an implementation detail, which I actually quite like this API now. We're like, hey, here's a transform. Here's a thing which speaks in terms of the high level concepts you understand. If needed, you can like pack this into a 4x4 set of floats. I don't know. Thoughts, feelings? I quite like it. Yeah, got 106 people on YouTube and 37 people on Twitch. I'm glad everyone's here. Hope everyone's having a good time. Watch me fail to drive a compiler. Ambiguous call, so function. It doesn't like my transform. Does not like my transform. 22G. I'm somewhat surprised it doesn't like that. Oh, initialize a list. God damn it. Oh, because it won't be able to infer that type. Right? Am I... So do I have to do matrix for... Do I have to be explicit of this type? What's longer, the error message or how long it takes for std regex to match? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That was it. This is the problem with braced initialization, aggregate initialization, designated initialization, whatever you want to call it today. I know they're all slightly different. Sure does want to be an initializer list if you give it a second. Okay, so I understand your comment that it might all sound like gibberish. Please do ask questions. I'm more than happy to take the time to kind of go over this. It kind of keeps me in check as well, because I'll just say stuff and be like, oh, C++, blah, 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 colon, vector, or something like that. If it doesn't make sense, please ask questions. I will endeavour to... I can't answer every question because there's got quite a lot of people here now, but I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can. It also keeps me like on the straight and narrow. It forces me to defend my position a little bit. Yeah, I know, maybe we should just, I mean, it's not vexing. When in doubt, it's a function. The obvious choice. Right. Question. Poll. Is this going to work? Let's do some engagement. That poll. So the poll is, will as I check I spelled it correct. Will barrels rotate? Yes. And no. And then for people on Twitch who want to gamble, match prediction, start prediction. Right, go. Have fun. Yeah, by working as in like when we saw the physics objects rotate, will the graphics representation of those work? Have we correctly, on our first pass, wired up quaternions? Oh, we got some. Maybe I should have had like a maybe. But yeah. So we've got some people. A lot of people saying no. Exciting. Let's just end the poll. Okay. Most people on YouTube have no faith in me. No, sorry. Most people on Twitch have no faith in me. Most people on YouTube do have faith in me. That's exciting. I like it. Oh, I just have to run it and find out. Moment of truth. It's but now the position is lost. I've got the rotation. How have I lost the position? Or now is this? Do we count this as yes? Was I? You know what? I think the answer is yes. Because the question was, do they rotate? And technically, they are rotating in line with this. I can see them rotating. So I think the issue was I was not specific about. I should have said, would they be correctly placed in the 3D scene? So I'm going to say that this is a yes, and the majority on Twitch should have had more faith. Wheelbarrows rotate. Yes, they did. I don't know what to tell you. I'm really sorry. Now I've got to go. Now I get to go and fix the rotations. So let's follow this through. We've set the rotation, right? And we set the position. We know those both work independently. It must be something we've done to change it. So let's have a look at transform. These are public. So that's sorry. No, let's go to entity. Transform.position is position. Transform rotation is rotation. We are propagating that information down. We do scale times rotation times position. I kind of failed to see how that wouldn't work. Right, let's just matrix 4x4 matrix transform order. Oh, there's some disagreement in the chat about whether this is right or not. We are column major. I'm trying to find something. Translation portion. Yeah, I'm just trying to find something that kind of the order of nope, shear matrix, concatenating matrix. A column major representation of points and vectors, matrices written in a sequence form left to right are actually applied right to left. So if this is right, but I'm column major, does that mean I need to apply them in the reverse order? So does that mean I need to do position No, scale's not set to 0 because we set the scale when we build out the when we create the entity, because they are massive in the obj file, so we have to scale them down. So they're definitely not. I probably actually need to construct that, don't I? Because that's just a type. That's just a type name. Yeah, agreed as well. If scale was 0, we wouldn't say anything. Another fun bug that you can have in doing this, and I've definitely stepped on that rake before. Quick. Oh, look at that. We are physicsing. That's pretty sweet. I'm pretty pleased with that. That looks pretty good. I don't really know what to do now for the rest of the stream. I could move files around again. Yeah, I reckon there's no... Is there like minimal friction? I think there is a material... I think I've seen in Jolt has the concept of a material property, which I suspect is to do with friction. Because friction's weird, right? Because friction is acting between two materials. Like an object by itself doesn't have the concept of friction. It has to be between two materials, and it's the based on those materials is the resultant friction. But I think game engines simplify that quite a bit, and just like this has a friction of this. Yeah, they're all slightly offset, like because I've just not been bothered to do it properly. They're not sliding, are they? As in, like, is that consistently offset? I was worried that. No, that's definitely anchored to that. Well, there's no reason why we can't have. I don't know. Should we do something fun? Is this fun? Are we having fun? Let's absolutely hammer my frame rate. Rolling blackouts up north, nice. That's surprisingly satisfying, that. That is incredibly satisfying. Oh, and I've got a reshort draw distance. More barrels, right. I think my far plane is really small. Or they could be massive. I don't know. How would one know? Oh, it's a little bit. It's. Maybe 500 was a bit. Ambitious. That is slow. Maybe 100. Maybe we should have done 100. Oh, look at them twitch. I'm not adding anything. Like this is just out of the box debug build. No scene acceleration. No octree. No nothing. Yeah. Checking my PC's not melting. The fans in my CPU stopped the other day, and I didn't realise for about 20 minutes until Windows gave up. It's just infinite barrels. They just keep on coming. Oh, well, at least we got a good community post picture for later. Yeah, it's still debug build. I'm not worried. Someone said do a release build. I feel like it never seems to be as easy as you think it would be to just like do a release build with CMake and Windows. So I'm just going to leave it as is for the moment. Also, like I'd have to rebuild everything. So I'm not that fussed. This is satisfying though. Is it me, or is the where they're dropping from is sliding? Why is it? Oh, I guess because it is slightly offset on the x-axis, so it's just taken so long it's getting here. Yeah, they're all now they're all going to start falling off the edge now. This is fun. Look at them go! Just into the sea with you. There's something really funny about this. But yeah, look at all these barrels. What's he doing there? Why is he on? Is he resting on something else? Or is he just on the piss? Oh, it was just rolling around there. It's just chilling out. Should just leave them to it. Have we finished, or have I just gone off the... Forgotten where I was. It was over here, wasn't it? The thing is, the spawner, as it were, is slowly sliding. I think that might be done now. Fun. Fun indeed. I think 100 might be slightly better. We'll comment this up. And then we'll see where we are. Oh, that's much better, I think. Yeah, nice and smooth. I don't know, I think like 100 dynamic entities with 0 optimization is, you know, I mean, I've got a half decent PC, but I think, like, you know, it's not bad. And into the sea. Yes, indeed. Every super like I get, every super chat I get another. We have more barrels, or not. Right. I am actually pretty pleased with that. Let's be good engineers and comment up some of this stuff. So let's add that. Go add quaternium class, and then let's add. And then that'd be what, like extend matrix for constructors, and then nope, go away, oh, and that all disappeared. And then commit add transform class, right, tighty, and then we want to be able to do, so physics will be commit expose rotation from rigid body, and then this is then refactor to use transform. Nailed it. I think this is kind of like done now. The next thing I want to do, and I don't know what's the time. I think we might start looking at this now. Is I want to, but I don't know how much we'll do of it. Maybe we'll just start reading through it. Is I want to add a character controller. So we should be able to walk, rather than floating in 3D space, we should be able to walk around and then interact and push those barrels around. So I think Jolt has some code on this. I might just have a look through. It's kind of hard because I don't know how much to start now because I'm going to be off for a few weeks. So maybe we'll just have a little look. But they've got this. They do have this character virtual. But I think in there, somewhere in there, they must have. Jolt physics source. They must have a character controller somewhere in their examples, right? Samples. Tests? Character? Here we go. Character base test, character planets test, character spaceship test, character... What I don't understand is what the difference between a character base and a character virtual is. We could add like a fire. So someone's saying should we add like a firing mechanic? Yes, let's. I think we could probably do that quickly. I don't think that'll take too long. one is real person squished into the code. So let's do, where do we create the physics system? I'm not going to bother rendering anything for it. We'll just use the debug renderer to see it. I think that's probably the best thing. So what am I looking for? I've gone, here, right, okay, let's do auto balls. Just a vector game rigid body. And then somewhere in here, if arg.key, I basically want this, right? Do I not have something that represents the space key in my enum of key events? That's really sad. Okay, I obviously only got this far when doing it. Is it VK space? Nailed it. Okay. So if we hit the space bar, I guess that should probably be down. We might end up with a double press here because I'm not using the proper key state. Why am I not using the key state? Yeah, no, I don't want to do this here, do I? I want to do the actual, I want to do it here. Here we go, right, here we go. We set up that and then we'll do if key state game key space we'll do where do we add to the rigid body for the physics? Here we go, something like this. All right, we're gonna camera dot position. Why do I, Haran, can you expand? I'm not sure I'm following. Why do you, oh, just reuse the cylinder shape, it's already there. Why do you think I'm going to need the frame delta? You are the actual expert in this area. I'm just making this up as I go along. So this should just spawn one where we are and drop it. Or, you know, quite a few of them. Okay, fine. Yes. I thought You're right. No, this does handle it when it's on. Yes, you're right. What am I trying to do? I want to not spawn something. I want on the first down, I want to spawn one thing and then not spawn anything, so I've hit the up again, right? I just spawn and release doesn't feel intuitive. Do you know what I mean? Like you want the action to happen as soon as you press it, but then you can't do anything until you release it. I think I just need to just track the state better, right? So spawn check is false. So let's do spawn, and then so if this is up, then do spawn can be true again. This needs to be outside of here, that's why. And then make that. So I'm allowed can spawn. Right, so I enter the loop and I can spawn, okay? And then I can spawn. And then if the key state is W and can spawn, then I'll do the spawn, and then I'll immediately do can spawn equals false, right? And then the only thing that can reset that is releasing the key up event. It's a bit gross. It is a little bit bodged in there, but I think that should work. Yeah, I've played around Binary Ninja. I'm kind of used to Ghidra, and I'm not saying Binary Ninja is better or worse, but it's just kind of what I'm used to. Okay, so I can just spawn a. I can spam it that, but that's fine. So if we release the camera, I should be able to like drop some of these on here into the midst. So now I need to be able to apply a force or an impulse, and does Jolt care? Because some physics engines differentiate between them. Isn't an impulse instantaneous and a force is over time? I think I want an impulse. Yeah, force is over time. Let's have a look. What they've got, like, I suppose I could just look at the rigid body class and just see what I've got. Nope, my phantom rigid body again. So what have we got in here? We've got body interface dot impulse, add impulse. I've been using Ghidra on and off. I mean, it's hard to say because, like, as I've sort of moved through my career, I've not always done reverse engineering. So I'd say actually sort of probably a couple of years in total. I've used IDA before as well, but I try to only use tools as much as possible. I only really want to use tools that are kind of free. Because then I feel like it's easy for people to jump on it. I know I used Maya on this. That's the one concession I'll make because I just don't have the effort to learn Blender. And if anyone's watched me on this before, you will know that I definitely don't know Maya. But if you see me use Blender, I know that even less. Right, okay. So let's go to our rigid body class, and let's add a position rotation type native handler. Let's do a auto add impulse const vector 3 impulse const. Yeah, will be const, right? Because I'm not actually going to be mutating any of these. And avoid my phantom rigid body. Rigid body. Right, okay. And then where's so what have I done? Why has all my code exploded out from underneath me? Where's it all gone? Oh, it's because I'm in the bloody wrong one again. Oh, bane of my life. I should just quit Vim. I mean, not in total, just in this particular instance. Let's do body interface, add impulse. I didn't see what that took actually. What does it take? Vector arc and impulse. Okay, fine. So body get ID and then 2 jolt impulse. Right, that should be enough, right? I'm just trying to make a game, right? I just want to see what it takes to make a game from scratch. I'm definitely not making an engine. Like, no one should use this code to make anything else. So yeah, I very much not making an engine. It's very I'm trying. My kind of guiding philosophy throughout all this is only write the code I need to solve the problems I have at that moment in time. Not think, oh, we might need this in future, so kind of go down a rabbit hole and add a load of stuff. We have done a little bit of that because it's fun and it's a learning experience. But I'm trying to keep myself reasonably constrained. So I should be able to do like auto const auto RB equals that, and then do RB dot add impulse camera dot like the direction I'm looking at. I don't know, maybe like times 10. Is that going to be like crazy? It's just a Huntsman Mini, like Razer Huntsman Mini clickety clackety keyboard. Right. Well, that was a bit lackluster. Am I not do I need more? I thought 10 was going to be like way too much. It'd be hilarious. We've not really set a mass on anything yet either, actually. Does this need a mass? Yeah, it's just not. I'm not impulsing. I'm not feeling it. Does it need a mass? And where have they used it anywhere? How do I add a mass then? Body. Yeah, because well, that's a good point because we have gravity, right? So that must apply. It must have mass. No, it's not multi-threaded. We're way away from that. Yes, this is near Vim and Tmux. Unless did I just not save it? Yeah, but if you had something with 0 mass, then gravity shouldn't affect it, right? Or are you just saying that's just a quirk of the engine? Yes, I heard it in that voice. Thank you. Chat GPT in the Jolt physics system. Why is add impulse not having any effect? Question mark. The object is kinematic or static. False. The impulse vector is 0. False. Object is constrained. False. High mass or damping. If the object's mass is very high or has significant linear damping, it doesn't have linear damping, I don't think, because it's moving around. Impulse is implied incorrectly. How dare you? Oh, interesting. That seems to suggest you have to apply the impulse at a position. Applied it. Oh no, so that applies it at the center of mass. That's fine. How do I set the mass of a rigid body? Where is the mass initialized in the body? I don't know. I've not set it. It's just been some default value. Jolt does have buoyancy physics. Yeah, that's cool. Right. Setting the mass of a rigid body. Step 1, get the rigid body. Done. Step 2, calculate the inverse mass. Step 3, set the inverse mass. Body. Set. Mass. Oh, I think ChatGPT might have dreamt up a thing that doesn't exist. Oh no, you do it on the body interface. I find this body interface thing so strange. I feel like should definitely go via the member one as well. Dot set. Yeah, it's dreamt up a set mass properties object. This thinks there should be a there's a mass properties on the body. So I'm going via the body interface, so I don't have to worry about the thing being asleep, so that's fine. I feel like, yeah, updates. Body set. So it's in body settings, is it? Where do we get the body settings? Body settings dot get mass properties or has mass properties, but there's no set mass, right? Yeah, I guess we could just set the velocity, but I'm kind of curious. Yeah, fine. We'll just set the velocity. It's just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, well, let's just see if we can do that. Can we do set linear velocity? Nope, not here. Not here. Not here. What are you chatting about? Add impulse. Yeah. Isn't my thing really like? Whoa. I think it's tunneling. Amazing. it's so fast. It's it's teleporting through. It doesn't have, or at least not enabled. What's it called? Continuous collision detection. That's funny. That is really funny. Right, let's do that times 10. I think we'll worry about mass and impulses another day. We don't need it now anyway. Right, okay, so let's do... Oh, that's sad, isn't it? Right, I want a little bit of oomph to it. Not so much that the physics system can't handle it. Mass properties, MSP. I think we'll just stick with this for the moment, but I will definitely come back and review all this later. Good suggestions from people, and thanks for the help. This has friction? I believe so. Well, actually, no. Actually, it's undecided whether it has what kind of the state of friction is at the moment. There we go. Right, now it's a game. Look at him go. That's so realistic. Got to knock them all off the off the island. There's something about how slow they float doesn't feel. I think it's probably because my time step is all wrong. We sure have gravity. I don't know. We kind of just go for the defaults. I really don't know. To be honest, I have no idea what's going on. Right, let's just quickly rename that to add to set velocity. Then I guess is that what we end up going with? Set linear velocity. Linear velocity. Rigid body. Add set linear velocity, and then impulse becomes linear velocity, and then impulse becomes linear velocity, and then over to main. This becomes set linear velocity. Yeah, we set the gravity in a previous stream. So just a quick check that works. We'll have one more play around with it. We'll comment it up, and then we'll probably call it there. It's been a fun stream, this. We moved some files around. We fixed some bugs. We got a little barrel gun thing working. It's been good. Good way to end before I take a few weeks off. So yeah, I'm having a few weeks off with the family from YouTube and streaming and work and such. So boom, 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 boom. Indeed, the Lanzarote trip. My wife will be very disappointed when she finds out that's where I've booked us to go. Okay, where's my thing? How do I stream? This one? Indeed, that's how I stream. Oh no, I said I was gonna. Sorry. Comment it up quick. So we've got. Most importantly, add space key. And then we've got add set velocity on rigid body. And then discard you because you've come back. And then changes. No. Shoot things. So that's what, stream 26, my goodness. What a time we've been having. It is an OBS transition, and well, it's several stacked up together. If you go watch Nutty, I just followed his guide and pretty much just cobbled it together from that, and then brought Stream Deck. He's got some really good stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. I'll have a quick look, see if anyone's around. Let's see if there's anyone doing CVPs. Same category, search filter, search C++. Nope, hang on, right. Same category, C++. Apparently there are 2 people doing it, but it's just decided it's not going to show me, so I really find the Twitch UI somewhat lacking. There you go. There's someone doing a C++ game engine programming live stream, and they've got 2 viewers. You should definitely go and say hi to him. I don't know what he's doing, but it could be fun. Be nice. He's been streaming for 4 hours. Right now. Anyway, thanks so much for coming along. Hope you had a great time. I had a great time. I think we did some good work today. Like I said, I'm off for a couple of weeks. Keep an eye on the YouTube community page, and I'll post when I'm next streaming again. It'll be in a couple of weeks. Please be nice. But yeah, I had a great time. Thanks very much for coming along, and I look forward to having a bit of time off, but then I look forward to getting back to this. Do go and check out the next video. It's a good one. Catch you guys later. Thanks very much. Bye now.